Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamika. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. I hope you all are doing great. Today we're going to be going over my wrap up for January. I read a total of 19 books in January, or 19 things. I read 6 volumes of manga and 11 books. I read from 3 authors of color outside of the manga that I read, and I'm going to quickly go over the first 11 titles that I read in January because I did do a mid-month wrap up for that. So if you want to know my in-depth thoughts on those books, you can go to my other wrap up. I'm going to just quickly go over those titles and my star ratings, and then we'll hop into the last 8 things that I read in January 2021. So first I read Picture Perfect. I gave this one 3 stars. I read The Initiation, The Obsession, and The Deception. I gave the first one 5 stars, second one 4 stars, and the third one 4 stars. I also read Dirty Kisses by Kenya Wright. I gave this one 3 stars, more like a 3.5 star. I read His by Aubrey Dark. I gave this 4 stars. I read A Hunger Like No Other. I gave that one 3 stars. No Rest for the Wicked, also by Cressley Cole. I gave this 3.5 stars. I read Sweat and Soap Volume 1. I gave this 5 stars. I read Sweat and Soap Volume 2, and I gave that one 4 stars. And then I also read My Dad's Best Friend by Katie Robert, and I gave this one a 3.5 star. All right, so jumping on into the other titles, I do this the same way every single month. So we are going to go from the least read genre to the most read genre. And this month I'm actually going to just do the manga as one because the manga is kind of like a little genre. It's not really, it has different genres, but it's a format. We're going to go with that. We're going to do that one first, and then we will do the romances that I read, because that's all of that I read actually. So first up, I read Fire in His Fingertips. This is a steamy, smutty, pretty much explicit manga that I cannot show you any of. It does come sealed and wrapped. I read this for a reading vlog that you will be seeing this week. This was, I think you might have already seen this. You probably have. It was my Reading Like Dean Winchester vlog. You will know my full thoughts on this in that vlog. This is a very fun manga. I actually think this is pretty sweet, all things considered. It is very explicit, but like the characters' relationship is very sweet. In the first one, we have our hero and our heroine. Our heroine is in a building. There's like a burning building, and our hero saves her. They are friends in real life. She's been trying to set him up with a girlfriend, but he's more of a playboy, and it's their relationship. She moves in with him after her apartment burns, and she needs a place to stay. It's very cute. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 stars. I'm not shocked that I gave this 5 stars. I loved the first volume too, so I cannot wait to read volume 3. I don't know when we're going to be getting that, but this one is super good, and I recommend it to anyone who wants to check it out. So the next 3 I'm going to talk about all at one time just because they're all in the same series, and that is Tokyo Ghoul. So I read volumes 3 through 5 of Tokyo Ghoul. This is continuing the series. I can't tell you much about what's going on right now without giving you spoilers for each individual volume. But I will say that this follows Ken Kaneki, who is a human boy who is actually a college student. So he's about 18 years old. He has this crush on this girl named Riza, and he convinces her to like go on a date with him. They go on a date, and lo and behold, she's actually a ghoul, and the story starts when she attacks him, and then she is killed, and their organs are placed inside. So her organs is placed inside of him, and he becomes a half human, half ghoul, and he has to adjust to his new life. It is super good. I really enjoyed the series so far. I felt like these volumes were pretty solid. I liked the second one pretty good. I gave that one a 5 star as well. The third volume I felt dragged a tiny bit, which was more of a 4 star for me, but the next volume after that I felt was super interesting, and I thought really worked. So the last one had a pretty interesting scene in it, and I really liked that. So I'm really enjoying the series, and I can't wait to continue it. I'm hoping to finish it in February. We will see how that goes, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad that my sister has pushed me to read it because I definitely want to finish it and also watch the anime, which I don't do very often. So I'm really hoping it stays as good as it is right now. So the next book I read, again, I'm not going to tell you too many thoughts on because this is in my Dean Winchester vlog. This is A Cowboy to Remember by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This is a cowboy romance. This is a second chance romance, a sweet childhood sweethearts kind of romance, friends to lovers, almost essentially enemies to lovers as well, because they are enemies at the beginning of the story. And there's also amnesia. There's quite a bit of layering going on in the story. So essentially our heroine Evie is a master chef, or she's not really a master chef, she's a professional chef, and she is pushed down a flight of stairs by her competition essentially, and she loses all her memory. She has amnesia, and she goes home to live on the ranch that she lived on, that has this other family on it, and this boy that she loved when she was growing up, his name was Zach, is on that, and she's not spoken to him since she left. I don't remember how many years ago, but it's essentially their story, them falling in love while she has amnesia, and then them coming together after she realizes everything that happened between them and the amnesia goes away. It's a really cute story. I gave this one a 3.5 star. And I really enjoyed this one. There were some things that I didn't super love. It was mainly just like the pacing and like the tropes. I don't know if cowboy romances are for me. I was a little, it wasn't necessarily the cowboy part. I really didn't feel like the cowboy part was as on page as I wanted. And I have an issue with second chance romances. And I think that was mainly the problem that I had, because it kept referencing what had happened before, and I just wasn't interested in their past relationship. So I think that's more why it was a 3.5. I think if it had been a little more cowboy on page and a little less second chance romancy, I would have enjoyed it a lot more, but it was really good. This is a Black love story. So if you're looking for a Black love story, this is one that I do recommend you check out. And I love Rebecca Weatherspoon, so I was excited to read another book from her. And yeah, I enjoyed this. I gave it 3.5 stars. Would totally recommend it if you want to read it. Full thoughts will definitely be in the Dean Winchester vlog if you check that out. Next up, I have Hot Shot Doc by R.S. Gray. Again, this is a Dean Winchester vlog book. I'm not going to talk too in depth because I do talk about it more in the vlog. I really like the storyline because this follows an enemies to lovers situation. This is, our hero's name is Dr. Russell or Matt, and then our heroine is Bailey. Bailey's taking care of her sister Josie, and she is a surgical assistant, and she has to start working for Matt, and he's really hard to work for. He's essentially like the devil of the hospital. Like, he's really hard to work for, he's really hard to deal with. So she has to work with him, and it's their relationship, getting to know one another, becoming friends, having sexual tension, and then eventually having a relationship. It was really cute. I felt like it was a little overdone at times, a little bit ridiculous and kind of unbelievable in situations, but overall I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 star. I thought the writing was a little cheesy in places, but I really liked the development between the characters, and I really liked the way that the family aspect was in there. I'm a really big family person. When it comes to like my family, it is really important for me. If any partner that I have is very on board that if something ever happens to my family, my sister would come and live with us, no questions about it. I mean, I practically raised my sister, so that is absolutely no questions asked, something that I would do in a heartbeat. So that is really important to me, and the fact that Matt was super okay with like Josie taking care of her or Bailey taking care of her sister and being a part of Josie's life was really important, and I really liked that part of the story. So I really liked this. I give it 4 stars, and definitely will give you more thoughts in my vlog. So yeah, make sure you're watching that if you haven't watched it. Okay, so then I also read 2 other books that I actually didn't like at all. So I read Torn by Carrie and Cole. I actually DNF'd this at 75%. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant on this one, so just prepare yourself for that. So this follows characters, I can't remember their names. It's not important, to be honest. She's 17. He's 32. He's her godfather. No one told me this was following a 17-year-old who's dating her freaking godfather. I would have appreciated knowing that going in. I have a goddaughter. I have been a part of her life since I was 18. 17, 18, around the same age range as this dude. I mean, he has been around in her life since he was 15, but he is 32, she's 17. They have a sexual relationship, a romantic relationship. Oh, listen, I can get on board with taboo. I can get on board with, you know, the different types of taboos there are, and if this one would have been done differently, I think I could have got on board with it too. The godfather part makes it a little more hard to get on board with. So essentially this is a dad's best friend romance. Our hero is... The only redeeming thing about this book was he has hand tattoos. I don't know if you know this or not. I love hand tattoos. I love them. I was so excited whenever she described his tattoos. I was like, yes, we have a hero with hand tattoos. I'm going to love this man. And then everything that he would say, there was like flashbacks of when like she was a child, like firstborn, 2 years old, like young. And like, it was like written so weird, like almost like they were destined to be together even from that young of age. I just felt really strong like pedophilia vibes from that. It felt like he was grooming her with the way that he would talk about her. Not necessarily that he groomed her. I mean, he potentially did. It was hard to read, and the hero and the heroine have a sexual encounter. So it is very strange, and I'm going to tell you exactly how this happens because I think it was just weird. They have sex before she's 18, or they do things before she's 18. And then it's within like 2 months that she turns 18. They're doing things anyway. So that was hard to read. And he just talks about how mature she is for her age, how she's not like other girls, how she looks so mature and she looks like she's 23 or 21, and her friend looks like she has a 12-year-old's body and she doesn't because she looks so mature for her age. I just wasn't here for that. It was just uncomfortable. It was just not what I wanted to be reading. It was just not... It wasn't ideal. I was not happy about it. And their first kiss was completely unnecessary. It was out of nowhere, and he tried to act like, oh, that shouldn't happen, but then he couldn't stop thinking about how badly he wanted to do it again. So just was not a fan of that, and I just quit reading it. I stopped. I put myself out of my misery, and I DNF'd it. And now I know what you're thinking. How can it get worse than that? How could we get worse than that? Let me tell you. So I read Love Unexpected. This was the Taboo Book Club pick for January. I picked this book. I don't know why I did. This is a step-family romance. This is a stepfather, stepdaughter. The mother passes away. This is supposed to be an enemies to lovers. This is supposed to be a lot of things. Essentially, I couldn't get on board with anything about this book either. I really don't want to rant about it, but at the same time, I kind of do need to just address the whole problems that I had within it. I'll tell you why I didn't like it, and I'm going to recommend you actually go to the live show and listen to me and Heather talk about it. There, I'm going to tell you pretty not spoilery things. If you want spoilery thoughts, then that's where you should go definitely to get those. Me and Heather go in explicit detail of why we don't like it. I'll tell you the basics. So essentially, we are following this girl and that guy, and her mother dies, and within 2 months they're having sex and they have a full relationship. He is going back and forth the entire time of, oh, we can't do this, yes we can, oh, we can't do this, yes we can, oh, we can't do this, yes we can. There is a aspect of she acts overly experienced when she has no experience at all, which was a complete disconnect for me. It was very jarring. I felt like the storyline didn't make any sense. I didn't understand why we were rooting for the two characters to get together. I didn't like the fact that she acted very sexually experienced even though she was a virgin, and then within that, trying to be a seductress, he treated her kind of not poorly, but he didn't handle it correctly. Like that she was having her first time and he would be very aggressive about certain things. There was just so many situations where he was overly aggressive and they never had that conversation of them being aggressive. It felt very weird. It felt very jarring. It didn't make any sense to me because someone's first time, people don't need to be rough with them. It was just, it was a lot. I can't wrap all of my thoughts into like a short amount of time because I had so many problems with it. I was not a fan of the writing style. I wasn't a fan of any of it really. I didn't have a positive thing I could say about the entire thing. I did give it 1 star because I did read almost all of it. I read up to 40%, and I skipped to 85% and read the rest of that. I felt like the dad storyline was very weird. I didn't understand why Dominic was upset that her dad wanted to be a part of her life because he wanted to be her boyfriend, so he got overly possessive about still maintaining his father role, but he also wanted to be her boyfriend. It was very strange. I didn't understand that. but to each their own. This one just, I couldn't get on board with it. I did not like a single thing about it. Not a single thing. So those are all the things that I read in January. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of these books and you have any recommendations on where to go with QB Tyler, because I really want to enjoy her books, but that one was just an absolute no for me. So if you all want to check out any of these books, even if I don't really recommend them, all the links to them are in the description as always, as well as all of my social media links if you want to be my friend on other platforms. And I will chat with you all in my next video. Bye everyone.